What's poppin', people? It's the same day. So y'all can tell I recorded this the same day as the Armour video. Did I remember to put combos and stuff in that video? No. Did I remember to talk about defensive interactions? No. Will I remember in this one? Maybe. It's ghosts. I actually don't know if I put out a BT20 ghost list. I meant to. So if I did, cool. If I didn't, my bad. But we got BT21 where we've got a little bit extra support, but a little goes a long way. This extra rookie goes insane stupid. So you can actually get to see what I've been running. I know I've put some lists, like screenshot lists. They've all been wrong in all of my videos, which people have pointed out. So now you actually have a list of what I am playing and would have been in the local finals that will be out by the time this video comes out. So you got to see me move some madness, you know what I'm saying? First place, definitely, at locals. But yeah, well, let's get into it. As always, Digimon starts at the eggs, so we're going to start on the eggs. 4 of the Demimeramon, the BT20 on deletion, return a ghost, and 1 Cupimon BT16. You do go through a lot of eggs sometimes. Analog, you be like that. So you do go through eggs a lot, so a 5th egg felt pretty necessary to me. Cupimon was another way of extending memory, because memory extension is really, really important in this deck. So you do need to be able to drag the memory back to your side after an execute. So this was the egg that let me do it. So 1 Cupie, 4 Demimera. I'd say pretty standard, but not everyone's on 5 eggs. Not always woke to it. Now we're going to talk about one of the only cards that's alive in the deck. We've got Gazimon. His on delete is gain a memory. You could maybe run 4. I chose not to. There was a time where I was messing around with like the Lopmon. This does sound familiar. Maybe I did put up B20 list. Yeah, I was on like a Lopmon for a bit, so you could get the tamers down cheaper, but it wasn't worth it. Especially now that we've got an extra target rookie. There's no reason really to mess around with the Gazis. So 3 Gazis, nice and simple, and then 3 of the new Ghost. The BT21 piece, your turn. When this would digivolve into a ghost trait, reduce the cost by 1. Spoilers, all of your level 4s are ghosts, except 1. So this will always be live. 1 cost evos are kind of crazy, especially when they cheat out a tamer. He is ghost and liberator tag, so he's another target off of all of your liberator gubbins. Yeah. And then 4 of the ghosties. Lovely ults for these. I don't know if there's release events of these ghosts. If there are, I guess I have to go get them, because I like ulting the little guys. The big guys maybe, but like yeah. Searches for a ghost and liberator, so you can double hit on itself and stuff like that. On delete, gain a memory, which has been every single inherit so far. We now no longer actually have to play an inherit that isn't gain a memory. So if you can make a stack with a rookie, congrats, you're getting a memory back. So yeah, that's all the rookies. 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 rookies, a little bit short on rookies, but you generally tend to find them. For the level 4s, more ghosty boys. So we've got 3 of the on-play give retail. Really on-play when digivolving give retail. Really important because you do make blockers, so being able to make a retail blocker is incredibly frustrating. The on-deletion trash 1 card to delete an opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon is really important, because if you end up on a memory blocker, now that we're not on the Candlemon anymore, you do sometimes just need a guy that in the stack can delete the memory blocker before you gain the memory back. And then if you sequence everything correctly, that's fine. And then we're on 1 Bakemon, because when digivolving and on deletion, draw 1, trash 1. It's a purple staple for a reason. We love drawing 1 and trashing 1. Inherit retail, also really cool, because it does allow you to basically do what you do with a Soulmon, but it's an inherit, so it doesn't have to be off of an on-play. You could do it under Volder, for example, by it being an inherit. 3k body. Yeah, it's a good card. 4 to drop. All of your level 4s, your main level 4s are 4 to drop. We got 4 of the Ghost Bucket, the Judge Bucket. I honestly didn't even realize I was up to 4, but yeah, this is my 4th Judge Bakemon. In fact, one of these might have been switched without my knowledge, because I thought I had 3. But yeah, on delete, gain a memory tends to be the name of the game for the inherit, and he is the one that cheats out the Violet if you have 2 or fewer tamers. We'll get into the in-boots later. What we are going to do, though, is show off our first real tech card, and that is Ginkakumon Promote. One of the main problems with Execute is it does not give your stuff rush. Do not cheat. When you float, that is a body that can't do anything. So this is a Jambo tech. Shoutouts to Purple Hybrid Enjoyer himself. He gave me this direct from his Glasgow topping Purple Hybrid. And yeah, it's Ignore the on-play. It doesn't matter. The main thing is it's a 1-cost Evo to have Rush. It's not gains Rush, so if you evolve it, you lose it, but you just evolve it over anything you float. Swing that bad boy in for an extra check. It can be your lethal. It can be an extra check that they weren't ready. If you go over something like a Bakemon, it's an extra memory refund after it dies. Really, really useful card. So we're running it as a one-off because it is unsearchable. You will just simply draw one, trash one, your way to finding it. So yeah, that's all the ghosts that we are on for our level 4s. 9 level 4s. For our level 5, speaking of texts that allow you to get around not having Rush, Chimera. When you DNA Digivolve, you gain Rush by default. So this allows you to pick up one of these sources. You can add an extra gain of memory. You can add something that floats. You can pick up the ability to shoot level 3, basically. Well, level 4 or lower. The Chimera usually will clear a memory blocker because they'll be, you know, 2k or lower. If they're under, you know, Jedi's house or what's it called, Island of Adventure, then, you know, kind of out of luck in most cases. But yeah, generally the main thing is you use him to give 2 of your level 4s. If you Necromon float into 2 4s, congrats, you can now turn that into a Chimera, and now you have Rush again. So we're on 2 of those, and then the number of level 5s you would expect on quite a heavy level 5 count at 10. 4 of the Phantomon and 4 of the Metal Phantomon. Metal Phantomon with Retaliation, if you can set it up that way, is broken. The on-deletion D-Digivolve comes up sometimes, but more often than not, Phantomon is the guy that gets a lot of the game going. Evolve into him, execute, end of turn, you get to swing over unsuspendeds and not unsuspendeds. Delete yourself at the end of the attack, and on-deletion floats into a 4. The Inherit is also float into a 4, which is how the Necromon can sometimes set up a Chimera, with that stack just turning into 2 level 4s. So we're on the Phantom. He's my guy, my goat. Actually, funny enough, the only reason I play the deck, I do like Ghostmon as a design, but real KnTElixar heads know that Digimon Rumble Arena 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. And this guy is the GOAT from that. And seeing that he was in the game and not trash, I was like, well, I guess I have to play this. So yeah, this is why we play Ghosts. And I love Phantomon. So yeah, we're on 10 level 5s. Bit high on the count, especially considering the counts of our other rookies, but it's worked out pretty well for me. For our level 6s, we're on 4 of the Necro. We've spoken about him a bunch of times, and again, I haven't finished ulting him, but it is what it is. Sec +1, execute, doing 2 checks is kind of crazy. On play when digivolving to the Digimon with the lowest level, which is really, really important for, you know, clearing single stacks. Really, really punishes single stacks, but when they get little shitters next to it, that's where the problems happen. So you do have to try and close those out as you can. On play and when digivolving is really, really important. And the on play also lets you play out a level 5 from your trash with Ghost. Same with the on deletion. So you'll be getting that on deletion to float into a 5 or lower when you inevitably end up executing. So a lot of removal on the Necromon. Really, really sick card. It being 12k is kind of crummy. So if someone puts a big wall in front of you, L plus ratio, you kind of just lose. And it is a purple deck, so we're on Anubis. What would a collection of the dead be without the Dead Keeper himself? You can use it to sometimes play Necro. Costs a lot, but not as much as slamming Necro would be. And you also get the level 5 removal, so sometimes if they've got a smaller body in the way, you can use him to pop the smaller one, then pop the guy you're actually trying to pop with the Necro. He's just an alternate level 6. I go into him a bunch off of some other chains if it's maybe off of something that floated off of a Necromon. And I'm like, well, it's not like I'm executing again. I'll just turn into Anubis, get some extra value from there. And then the last of the tech cards, one Boltmon. And most of you will be like, what the heck is Boltmon? And I was the same when this card was given to me. I don't hate this card, but he is kind of a goober. The main thing that matters is DNA Digivolve, black and purple. If you remember, Metal Phantomon is black and purple. So Metal Phantomon plus any other level 5 that you end up in can be a DNA Digivolution for 0, which again gives Rush. It does have blocker, and when digivolving on deletion, de-digivolve 1 and delete a level 4 or lower Digimon. So you do get a couple of extra clears, but more often than not, you've kind of cleared the whole board when you do your shenanigans. The main thing is floating into 2 of these, or, you know, maybe you float into a 5 and a 4, and then you use Violet to evolve into a 5 at cost minus if you can keep turn. Bang, down comes Boltmon, and no one's ever ready for the Boltmon. He is purple-black. Not that that really matters, because you can't pick him up off the Chimera, but yeah, it's just an example of kind of like more DNA Digivolution rush pressure as a guy that's kind of like an unseeable one-of. He's not searchable. If you end up having to pitch him, so be it. You can kind of figure out which states you actually need him to be in. But yeah, that rounds out our level 6s. The Boltmon is a cool tech. Shoutouts once again to Jambo. Not my idea. That was him finding ways to squeeze out more rush bodies that doesn't necessarily just have to be the Chimera. For our option cards, we're on 2 of Apparition Legion. Card's crazy. Return up to... So it is errated. Basically, yeah, it's returning up to 9 levels, and you may play the same number, which basically means you want to do a 3 and a 6, a 5 and a 4, or 3 3s. More often than not, is 3 and a 6 float into a rookie and a Necromon, and then Necromon plays out a level 5 off of its effect, and then they gain Rush and Blocker. It gaining Rush means the Execute is live, so when you're executing him for 2 more checks, you then get to, on delete, float into another Metal Phantom, usually, to gain Blocker. So card is really, really good. Prints a crap load of advantage. Merva on a button. And the security effect can win you games because it does play a level 5 or lower from trash without paying the cost, and it doesn't turn off on plays, which means you can suddenly turn it into a removal spell because, once again, it turns into Metal Phantomon. Yeah, card's really, really, really good. You could run more of them if you want. It is Liberator tagged, meaning it is searchable off of the Liberator stuff like your Ghostmon Searcher. Yeah, card's really, really, really good. Obviously relies on your opponent's trash. For some matchups, it just isn't live, that option. And something like D-Reaper, for example, has no levels, so that is a card that you just pitch as soon as you can. We're on 1 Glaive Memory Boost just because sometimes you need to go Grave Robbing, and Grave Memory Boost allows you to just pick up something from trash if you need it. Sometimes you'll be missing a piece that you need, and it is a Memory Boost, so it does give you more to work with. 1 Calling, because it is a purple deck, it is a delete button if you need to gain a bunch of memory back off of an Inherit, and then 2 for a Scramble because... our Necromon does cost 4 to Evo into with no like extra funny claws. Costing 4 is a lot, so making him cost slightly less than 4 is yeah, it's there. Lets you play from an empty board. It is obviously 2k, so you can't float into any of your 4s because they are actually surprisingly big for guys that want to die. But yeah, it's just sometimes a way of squeezing extra memory out of a deck, and kind of like going on with that, we're on 1 Vortex Resonance. Basically another Scramble, reduces cost by 4, cost 3. You get to do the search as well, which sometimes can help you find the piece you're missing, but it can also, by being a 4 cost reduction, it allows you to jump straight into the Metal Phantom, which sometimes is a problem where you don't have the memory to go into Phantom and Metal Phantom before you make your Necromon. So sometimes this is just the way of going straight into Metal Phantom and putting the Necromon on top of that. Does also not require you to go into a Liberator off the Evo, which means you can turn into Anubis. Can present a 5 and then Vortex Resonance into your Anubis, which is quite funny because you don't have to evolve into the something that's revealed. It's just a free search basically, and then you get a 4 cost reduction Evo. And we're on 1 Jackray because sometimes people are like, well, you can't delete me, and I go, word, give me 2 memory. It is now my turn. Also, you do draw 1, trash 1 a lot. Eventually you end up with crap in the trash and Jackray goes live. So cards at 1, might as well use it at 1. And that's all of our options. So we're on 4, 5, 7 options, of which 3 of them are Liberator tags. Speaking of Liberators, we're on 1 Violet in Boots, the Memory Setter. I know a lot of people have kind of cut her, but going to 3 is kind of crazy. You don't have to do as much memory shenanigans when you just get to start a 3. You can actually plan your turns a little bit better. Also, her starter main is pitch an option card or a ghost, and you get to draw 1. So sometimes Jackray, it's taking too long for you to get above, 10 or 15. So you just pitch the card early and get some extra draw. It can be the difference maker between finding the piece you need and lounging. And we are going to be on 4 of the Violet in Boots, the one that actually does your game plan. Card's crazy. Like, there's no, like, oh, maybe you could run 3. Card's crazy. I tried 3 and 2. And yeah, no, you want to see this card in multiples. Sometimes you just have turns where you're going to be not able to do the thing, so you just put an extra one of her down. Really, really solid card. If you don't know what it does, but you're still looking at ghosts, it's suspend to reduce your evo by 2 when a ghost dies. So sometimes it also means when you have a guy out, you can crash a rookie into security, have it die, and then it's like when one of your ghosts is deleted, because that is a ghost being deleted, bang, now you get a free evo. So very... You can basically use rookies as a way to get extra chip and then also kind of coincide your way up a chain, which is really, really cute. But yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to use her, like going into a 3 and using her to effectively get a 4, but you got a search out of it for free because you got to float and then cost -2. Cost -2 makes a huge difference in being able to keep turn and go from there. And then we're on 2 analog youth. I know there are a bunch of lists that are on like 4 and 4 or 4 and 3. I found the memory setter to be really, really useful. And also, I just wanted more value out of my Bakemon. I felt like when I was on higher counts of the analog youth, you're more likely to just kind of AFK commit an analog youth and then turn off your Bakemon really, really early. Obviously, as soon as you've got 2 tamers, you might as well just start dropping these guys. He can find what you need, sets up your trash when you don't, and when you do your funny executes, go sideways, gain your memory, hatch. It's why we're on 5 eggs. It's another way of making sure that if you're on not gain 1 memory inherits, that you can still be able to keep turn. Because remember, you cannot declare an execute off of the floated body, even if it has rush, or if it was a sideways one, off of an execute, because even after the full attack resolves, the execute will still be trying to trigger. So you need analog youth and your on delete inherits to be able to bring the memory gauge back to your side, so that way you can then declare a brand new attack with execute. So that's everything that you need for the actual 50. Like I did say about some of the kind of like combos that we're talking out, we've just got some kind of simple things where we're just going to be talking about the kind of lines that help you end up in situations. So we'll quickly go over the standard one, like Necro can float into a 5 and a 4. Sometimes you might just choose to go 4 and 4 and then Chimera over the bodies after you've kind of gotten your extra value. Sometimes you choose to go 4 and 3, do your search, and then tap Violet to evolve here for 0, and then Chimera to get your extra value. And of course, you get your load up. So now you have 4 memory when this inevitably turns into a brand new Necromon and does an extra 2 checks. Sometimes you'll choose to float into the Phantom and maybe an extra 4, or you float into a Metal Phantom and the 4, and that's again where gain some extra memory back here, tap Violet, turn into Phantom, turn into turn into Boltmon here, and that's how you get an extra check. And the other thing that we kind of spoke about earlier as well with the last of the kind of like combo lines is sometimes you didn't get the chance to go too far, so you just go Phantom on, gain your memory back, float, and then you're like, well, I've got an extra memory, so you get your execute, all of that, float into a Bakemon, you've got your extra memory, let's spend 1, you now have rush, and swing that in, it'll die, and you'll get your memory back. So it's just a cool thing that you can kind of do with that. Sometimes you end in situations, again, where it's Necro, Phantom, so you float into 2 4s. 6k is surprisingly big, so sometimes your Ginkaku just lives, and then same plan as always. Turn it into another damage with the Chimera, and load up an extra bit of memory. So there's a bunch of different things you can kind of do with these cards. Really, really, really cool lines where you can really just turn these into aggro deck that goes crazy. Obviously, if your opponent's immune to deletion, you have to try and figure that out. If they have immunity, GG's go next. It's really, really fun. I've had some great games where I've gotten to use execute to swing over unsuspended, so I could go over gatekeepers to turn off the sec minus. I've had games that you get to see today where Digimon has its protection at 1 or more memory, but on plays are turned off. So I built a retaliation stack, executed into it, then used the analog youth to bring memory back to my side, then proc retaliation to kill the Aegis because it's no longer protected because we're no longer at the 1 or more. So really, really cool things you can do with this memory gauge that reminds you that, you know, Digimon used to be a game about the memory gauge, and this is the closest deck to truly honoring, you know, memory manipulation in a way that felt like the give and take it was supposed to be. So really, really fun deck. Is honest in a lot of aspects, which means it's not tier 1, not even close, but it's tier fun for sure. And if you like my current 50, let me know how it goes with your testing your locals, and look forward to getting to see more footage of it. Bye.